guys, I am Ash, and this is Saf, and this is sponsored.
Take
One more time.
Don't be so bad.
Hey guys, I am Ash, and this is Saf, and this is a sponsored Dragonheir Silent Gods YouTube channel and YouTube video, and today is going to be a big day, Saf, because we're finally going to start skilling up, scrolling up, booking up, whatever you want to call it, our legendary heroes, talking about what we're looking for, what makes a good scroll usage, and maybe some pitfalls to look out for as well for players out there. How you doing, Saf?
I'm doing good. It's decision day.
This is a big one. This is a big one, man.
Talking about this
We've been holding off like extra long to record it, you know?
We have. And we had so many legendaries to test and try out and sort of experiment, especially for me. I've never played around with like at least 4 or 5 of these. Every single legendary that we have at 90, I've never used because I haven't got them on my main account. So
well, I want to actually start there, Saf. I mean, from your experience, especially for any veterans out there watching or people who just been following along with our account and our journey, really quickly, any of these impress or not impress you? Any of these new legendaries?
Yeah, I'm blown away a little bit by Chrysos, I have to say. Chrysos
yeah, we weren't really sure what to make of him when we got him.
I wasn't sure, but the more I use him, I'm like, he's just kind of like makes everything so much stable, and like the team really is really healthy with him. He's I'm very impressed with him. Obviously, I knew Vinyara was always really good. One of my
she was our first legendary.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun like with Sagame. He's a very fun one to watch as he throws carrots around with people. So
yeah. And one of our most recents is Evelios. You already knew about him though, right?
I knew the duo, Evelios and Daravol is the legendary duo.
How is he on his own so far, do you think, like from as a veteran?
Yeah, he's quite good. I've only just managed to get our Shagrol, who's an epic Dauntless, up to level 90 now, so he's a little bit safer. The problem with melee champions are they like to go and get themselves killed quite quickly, so
indeed.
You need to basically put a little bit more life into them, where Evelios can kind of sit in the back and just ping a few arrows out. So I've been pretty much like building towards a Dauntless at the moment with our setup, because it feels really good to use with our Garius and with because Evelios is just a very strong single target damage dealer. It's been pretty interesting to test so far, but yeah.
Great. All right. So let's approach this instead of our own specific account, Saf. Let's approach this in a more broad sense to start out with before we spend these. Obviously, legendary scrolls are hard to come by in this game. Let's even rewind a little bit before that. Rares we talked about, like rare scrolls, just use them. Who cares? Kind of. Like as long as you know that the hero is going to be decent, you're going to be using them. Use them with confidence. Epic scrolls, we've used a lot of those already, like off air. Is there any guidance for epic scrolls that you would give?
I would suggest you prioritize epics that you know will carry you through content in areas where you need them. So for example, we've prioritized Garius because he's forming up a tank.
He's our
we
guy.
Prioritized Iola because she forms a very strong crowd control. And I know personal experience that I will need crowd control in places like Meander, Pillar of Trials, future content, adventure areas. Like having crowd control is really big. So having her get her ultimate quicker, more instantly is going to help as we push through those. That's kind of like where you want to start with epics.
Okay.
You can get a healthy sort of pool of epic books, but try to prioritize the ones you're using, not ones you think you will use.
And now legendaries, basically the same advice, I would say, in like in a broad sense.
I would take extreme care with legendaries. Now, season 1, you get a lot more legendary books up front, to be fair. So you were probably thinking, well, I've got 20 of these, I can just throw them away. Don't rush to it. Make sure you pick the right one. I would even hesitate to say, if you're just starting on a season 1 server right now, wait even potentially until month 1 after your second summoning event, because you might find that you pull something on the second summoning event like we did. We're using 2 legendaries here that we pulled on our second summoning event, which we might find we need to book them. And if you've used all your legendary books, it's tempting to pull your Necrosis legendary that you get and book him straight away. You really want to make sure you're picking the right one. You want to be careful.
So it's not saying don't scroll up Scarlash. It's saying wait for more information first, aka who else you get, before you just blow all your scrolls on Scarlash, the free legendary in season 1. That all makes sense to me. Final question before we dive into our account and spend our scrolls here, Saf, is would you err on the side of, generally speaking, like support versus damage dealers, or is it really just dependent on your team and the hero?
Generally, supports require you to place some sort of debuffs. Like Vinyara is a great example here. You're going to place decrease attack. So if you need to to like get the percentage chance up to make it consistent, then or you need the recharge time. In our instance, we the recharge time because we have Hourglass. That's kind of like your decision. There are some champions, especially like there's a season 2 champion where you absolutely don't need to scroll her because her total recharge time starts at 19 seconds and the ultimate is powerful if you don't need to do it. So that's something to always keep in mind. If you don't need the benefit of the chance or the benefit of the cooldown with supports, then you probably don't need to book them in that instance. And the other thing to consider is, do I have an epic that is already doing the role of that I could use instead of the legendary in that instance? You really want to reserve the books for the most impactful, essential legendaries and making sure that the books make them work when they can't work before, potentially. Like this is a classic example you have on screen right now. He doesn't have a 100% chance to place the attack penalties. If you're doing the higher stages of dungeons and you don't land it, that could be the doom of your team.
Yeah.
So the book is essential at that point.
Okay, I lied. I have another question. Is in Raid, when we're booking champions, we're always looking at, first and foremost, percentages to land debuffs or buffs and cooldowns. What are the most important stats to scroll in Dragonheir?
The same.
There's chance, required, and initial. What about required versus initial? Is one more important there, or?
Not really. I would suggest that for arena, initial is more important because generally the
get to your better abilities first. Yeah.
It's race to world first kind of scenario. It's like if I can use my ability before you can, I can probably win the fight. Damage is going to be important for damage dealers. Naturally, we know this in Raid. It's a flat multiplier. It will make a big difference, but it doesn't necessarily mean the team can't work. You would only want to bring the damage if the damage is essential. Like arena, you kind of want your damage dealers booked because if you don't kill someone, it doesn't work. Whereas if it takes me an extra 30 seconds to clear Grave of Venom, I might book them when I have the spare books. And that's always something to consider. I would say the priorities really for Dragonheir is time. So initial and recharge, then chance. And then you go towards like heal, shield, and damage.
I will say that I've noticed here that you took Twitch as to level 90, right? As one of our 5 level 90 so far legendaries on the account. But initially you were like, Twitch, he's all right. You're like, it was just very mediocre. What made you choose him over our other poison legendaries?
Because of his ultimate ability to cover. So we're using him in our goblin team because of his ultimate ability. Now he is a classic example of someone I would go, probably don't need to book him because his job right now is to speed up the goblin run by doing a bit of damage, but generally it is his ultimate, which is dumping poisons on all enemies just so that we set up our sig grid. So we don't really need to book this because you can see he launches 4 attacks. Each attack will deal damage to enemies with a 50% chance of inflicting poison. So
decent shot
4
there.
times 50%. We're probably going to land poisons on everyone. In an ideal world, if I was to build a full poison boss team, we would book it. We would go for that route. But because we don't have Lothair, who generally kind of pulls the poison archetype together, the poison type, the role, we haven't really figured out what even Dragonheir don't know what we call these. Because we don't have Lothair, we don't have like the solution to make poison make sense. We just have someone who can place a poison, and the poison itself is not as good as it is in Raid, unfortunately.
Okay, well that all makes sense. I have a guess that Kairos is going to be our 100% one of our fully scrolled. Am I right? We have not talked about this off air, obviously.
We haven't. No, I actually need to check what his books actually do.
I have 2 reasons for my guess here. Reason number 1 is I know that we're heavy on flame. So fire is great. And reason number 2 is I know that you love them. So there we go. So what are we booking here? We are booking nothing.
Nothing passive. What are we getting here?
Recharge time, damage, and shield. And then we have initial, required, and chance with damage.
So I would suggest, the thing is, if we book Vinyara, then we don't need the attack penalty. But do we need the shield is the question. I
don't think we do, man. I don't think we do.
Our first choice is Vinyara for me. Our first choice. We are going to be using her in all of our key dungeons.
Everything.
And
hard carry.
Because we got to remember about Vinyara's ultimate. It is not simply that she places attack penalty. She removes all buffs. She removes all ultimate power. It's obnoxiously strong, her ultimate ability.
Boom. 1. There we go. Done and done. I'm like hesitant to even use them. Okay, is it just like a raid in such that if we get, you know, quote unquote lucky and they all go to, you know, level 3, we would stop? Or, you know, is she just good enough that we just use them?
What's the upgrades on the battle ability there?
On the battle ability, there's nothing. Or I'm sorry, the passive, there's nothing. On the battle, it's a recharge time with shield.
I mean, you can basically have a permanent shield, so it's kind of strong.
Okay, so generally speaking, so we're going to use them all on her, but generally speaking, would you recommend we upgrade 1 scroll at a time just in case we get lucky?
I think because we have loads of legendaries, I would want to stick with just the ultimate ideally. And then if we had space, we can go back to the battle afterwards.
Okay, I'm going to do 2 at a time just because we know we're going to...
There we go.
Boom.
Nice.
Well, this is exactly what I was talking about. So this scenario here, Vinyara is going to be a huge carry for us everywhere in the game, pretty much, right? So, and to your point, like having a, basically always up shield is awesome. So are we just going to come back to her at this point? We got pretty lucky.
We got Croesus, right? Yeah. Croesus does a lot of shield. So if we're using them because we want to do a split affinity, because Flame doesn't go with Frostbeat, we might split affinity them. Yeah. Well, we don't need another shield on top of a shield. So it's if we were swimming in legendary books, absolutely.
Sure.
But we're currently not. Now the question really is, do we want to book Croesus or do we want to book Laravel? Evelios. My bad, Evelios.
I was like, wait, do we have? All right.
They're twins.
You're the pro. I'm like, wait a sec. All right, I got you. All right.
See what he's doing. Let's have a
look.
look.
What does he do? So we have damage and chance at the lightning damage, or I'm sorry, launching a following attack. That I was gonna say, even though it's only 10, it doubles the chance of the extra attack.
Well, it's not even that. It's not even just a book. It's a book that applies to everyone, because if you have a Dauntless champion in your team, they're also getting the benefits.
True, 20%. Yeah. Okay, so, that feels like a no-brainer to me. And then we have a recharge time.
That's huge. It basically means that if you think about uptime efficiency right now, every 12 seconds we get a 5-second buff. We can take that to a 10 seconds. So it's a 50% from a 30% efficiency, so very big. And then actually he's really light on books as well. Full book.
Easy. Done. We are in. 9 out of 19. Boom. Ooh, that feels good to have our first fully booked out.
I'll tell you the reason why. He is such a very strong single target killer, and all of the bosses generally, Curse, Venom, Rot, where we get our gear, is going to be single target bosses. So I think it makes sense to basically make sure that our main damage source is doing well here.
All right, what about our horse here? Should we give him any love, Saf?
What else have we got available? Let's just have a look first. I'm curious.
All right, so we have
Vinyara, we've booked Evelios, and currently generally
we haven't done Kairos.
If we look at our teams here for a second, it's a good way to do this.
I think. Good call.
It's a very difficult decision. This you're always a bit apprehensive.
I know, right? Yep.
If you look at our teams, like our adventure team currently is being fronted up by Garius, who's already booked, I think, and I think we've just booked things. So we could book Sagamir. Pairs really nicely in this team, because Garius himself doesn't place attack penalty. So in this instance, we would go, do you know what? We probably need to make sure that we land that attack penalty. Maybe Sagamir is a good option.
Okay, so 1 vote for Sagamir, and then go back to our teams here. Goblin doesn't seem like we need to really focus on the reasons.
We're getting there. I think once we get to level 100 on all our heroes here, we'll probably be able to push up to the final ranks of Goblin with a bit more power in our gear when we start getting legendary gear. I don't really think like Twitch being like booked up and scrolled is going to make a big difference for us. Okay, let's keep going down just to see if there's anybody that we haven't invested in that we might want to save for here. And it seems like both the summoners have kind of faded a little bit in their utility on our account, the way that we built things so far. This guy though, Hochadir, is that how you say his name? Hochadir? I call him Hockadir, but that's because I'm Welsh and I'm weird, so. Hockadir looks amazing. Remind me, are you a big fan? Do you think he's like okay, or what do you think? I think he's a very decent frost support, because obviously when a frost enemy dies, he kind of causes explosions. So he's kind of like that pseudo damage tank that you can run in goblins and various different things. He probably requires like Usha to be alongside him, the whole setup. Really he's like the enabler for the frost team, because he gives that attack buff up to the team. So it seems like we're gonna stick to the 90s then for the most part here. I feel like so it might be feels good. Okay. And the reason why I think Sagamir is because I could see a world where we run Radiance with Garius, and therefore we would need the attack penalty. But we haven't got much here, so we've got to be careful. We've got 10 now, so it's basically one or the other. It's weird because I feel like we use Kairos a bit more. I'll tell you what, Ash, I think, do you know what we'll do? You can make the next call. You choose. What's your gut tell you? Go with your gut.
My gut tells me, what are the people? They kind of like
my
the horse.
My horse is amazing.
Bombastic side eye.
My gut tells me Kairos.
Let's go with Kairos.
Just because I feel like we use him more, you know?
Kairos feels like a better name, doesn't it? Why didn't they call him Kairos?
What is his name?
It's Chrysos, but it feels like...
Dude, I'm such an idiot, man. Yeah, I don't know. Shout out to Kairos Time Gaming. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He's a good content creator.
Yeah.
All right, Chrysos.
How many do we need?
How many
do we need?
We'll do one here. Okay, let's see. Okay. We need
4, and the ultimate requires what, 3?
4 and 4. 4 and 4.
We want the ultimate more than anything.
Let's check again on our horse here. Sagamir. How can I butcher his name? Shagomir. Let's see what we got.
Oh no. Service.
Yeah. All right. 3 and okay, so quite a bit less. 7?
Let's go with Chrysos. Okay, let's go with Kairos. We're gonna call him Kairos. Let me call him Larry. We're gonna call him
Chrysos. Where are you, buddy? All right. So we're gonna go all in. You think all in?
Let's try and do get his ultimate. I think his ultimate is.
Let's do 4.
Desirable. What do we get there? Okay. Well, we kind of.
Let's just go all in now, right?
Let's go all in. Let's go all in.
At this point, yeah.
And let's throw the rest of them on Sagamir. I think that's a really cool.
All right. So we have done it, guys. Let us know if you agree or disagree with how we spent one of our most scarce resources inside the entire game. I am. Oh, that was nice.
That was really nice. Yeah. That's now at least it's 100%.
It sets us up too. Yeah.
We can find the extra energy with skill haste. It's nice, but there's things we can do with skill haste to make that work.
I would be remiss, Saf, if I didn't ask the tough, cringy question I feel like at the end of this video is, and I feel like it's always when you Google or whatever, how to something Dragonheir, it's always like how to get the more scarce resources. What are the most reliable way to get legendary scrolls in this game other than buying them? And how can we optimize how many we can get like per month or per, rotation or whatever?
So the 2 best ways are the Sparkle tournament. Is it the Sparkle tournament? I think it's the Sparkle. It might be it's an Alliance tournament. If you head into the Alliance tournament tab there.
Okay, yeah.
And we go to the Alliance duel.
Hey, by the way, we should update the viewers about our Alliance saga. We're in like a really dead server. We've got like 3 alliances or something active. So we're trying to find a home, man.
If you're homeless, just buy a house.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so the Sparkle tournament is like a PvP style feeling clan versus clan game mode.
Okay.
But if you look at if you get up all the way to these soaring team rewards, you can see this is a very good source of Master Scrolls if you are able to climb the ranks in and basically get up to this. So it happens
soaring
like once
3
a
is
week.
The first availability.
Yeah, it happens like once a week or so, and you can basically it's a very good source if you're competitive and your clan's got some good members to get some legendary.
So we're
scrolls.
SOL there, bro. What else are we gonna? How else are we gonna get them?
The other way to do it is if you go to exchange.
Yep, exchange.
Great, and you go to the Bard's Banquet. I don't know why we call it the Bard's Banquet,
but you can good old Bard's Banquet.
You can essentially refight the bosses that you defeat in the story, and eventually, if you do the higher tiers, you'll be able to earn plenty of these scrolls, and you'll get one of these every 14 days.
14 days. So okay.
Those are the best sources. You can exchange them as well for Wyrmarrow. That's the other thing, but you don't need to do that if you have loads of legendary heroes. I'd suggest.
Yeah, because Wyrmarrow's always going to go to our Heliod dice, right? For the most part.
Yeah, ideally.
Man, that's tough, dude. That's rough.
There is one other place you can get them pretty good in the arena shop, and I think that's if you do the tag team arena. If you scroll down here, you can see you can pick it up from the tag team arena. So if you do some tag team arena, you can get yourself a Master Scroll there as well. So they're hard to get. That's why you have to choose wisely.
Very wisely. Okay, well, at least we get all the freebies at the beginning of the season, right? Like that's the best source, really, right? So I think that the scarcity that we've just illustrated of the Master Scrolls absolutely goes to the first point that you made in this video, Saf, which is do not just blow them on the first couple legendaries that you get. Don't do it. Make sure you wait a little bit because they're so hard to get,
They are.
All right.
Be patient. Choose wisely.
I am very excited that we have our first kind of almost fully maxed out heroes on the account. We'll probably do an update once we actually have our fully maxed level 100 team. Any final thoughts before we let you go here, Saf?
No, I think we are now ready to push on and try and start building some really high-end team, so it's going to be really fun to see how far we can push our new legendary heroes.
Absolutely. And guys, if you pulled any legendary heroes, if you've been summoning alongside of us, and if you booked any, let us know who you did in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys are up to on your accounts as well. With that, Saf and Ash signing out. Thanks for watching, and as always, take care, guys.